Acctivate inventory management software can be integrated with leading e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, eBay, WooCommerce, Adobe Commerce, BigCommerce, and others. Once integrated, Acctivate will import in sales orders from your web store for fulfillment in Acctivate. Optionally, you can download customer profiles and export inventory and shipment information back to your web store. When setting up a web store integration, you can choose to import customer profiles in addition to sales orders. This means that customers who've created an account on your web store but have not placed an order can be imported into Acctivate. Customers who do not have a profile, such as customers who've checked out as a guest, will have a customer record created from their sales order information. Whether importing customer profiles or creating customers from orders, Acctivate will attempt to match a web store customer to an existing customer to ensure accurate information. These fields are checked in sequence to make a match: Web Customer ID, Acctivate Customer ID, Alternate Customer ID, Company Email, Account Number. If no match is found, then a new customer is created. Alternatively, all orders could be imported under a single generic customer. Just like customers, Acctivate uses a hierarchy to match a web order product with an Acctivate product. This gives you the flexibility to list a product on various e-commerce platforms under different SKUs, yet still map to a single product in Acctivate. If a web order product can't be matched to an Acctivate product, the web store import will display a warning and skip the order until the next sync. This gives you an opportunity to set up any products or alternate product IDs so that the order is created correctly. Optionally, inventory availability and shipping information can be exported to your web store. You can choose to export available quantities for some or all of your Acctivate products and warehouses. This ensures that your web store is always up to date with accurate inventory levels. Similarly, Acctivate can export shipment tracking information back to your web store so that your customers have real-time information. Importing and exporting happen with each sync, which can be initiated as needed, or you can choose to run the sync on a recurring interval, ensuring everything is up to date automatically. I will integrate Acctivate with the Shopify web store to demonstrate the setup process and Acctivate functionality. Keep in mind, the web store setup process in Acctivate may vary slightly depending on which web store you are integrating. To install the Acctivate connector for your Shopify store, open the Shopify App Store in your browser. You may need to log in. In the search bar, type Acctivate and select the Acctivate result. On the Acctivate app page, click Install. You'll be prompted to give permission. Click Install to give permission. Then you'll be presented with the next steps to set up the integration in Acctivate. To complete the next steps in Acctivate, we'll need to copy the access key. Once you've copied that, you can return to Acctivate to complete the steps. To set up a web store integration in Acctivate, we'll go to File, Import Sales Orders. In this window, I'll click Create, and then I'll enter in a web store ID. I'm going to connect Acctivate to my Shopify web store, so I'll give it the ID of Shopify. And then I'll choose the type of web store. Sales orders is used to import in a flat file, but in this case, I want to import directly from my web store. I'll click Next, and then I'll choose my Shopify web store type. Here I'm prompted to enter an access key. I previously went through the steps to integrate my Shopify site with Acctivate to generate an access key to allow Acctivate Desktop to connect to it. I'll copy that Shopify access key and paste it in here and click Next. I'm presented with options. However, most of these options are defaulted to the recommended settings and there's no reason to change anything. However, there's one thing I do want to change: the timestamp of the last web order imported. When I create this template and run a web store sync, it's going to import any orders created on or after this time. However, I want to import an order that I know was created earlier this morning, so I'm going to change this to be 8 a.m. And then I'll click Next. Here I'm shown the mapping screen. Again, typically there are no changes that needed to be made here. However, you can change the mapping, or set up conversions. So for example, I'll expand the order document and then order section. I'm going to scroll down to view the payment method. Now I have a payment method field mapped to a Shopify field called Payment Credit Card Company. All of my orders on Shopify require that you check out with a credit card. However, the credit card options I have on Shopify may not directly match what I have in Acctivate, so in this case I want to set up a conversion. My web store will be connected to a Sandbox Shopify account, so I need to convert the payment method of bogus, which is used in my Sandbox account, to credit card. And then I'll click Next. Now at this step, I could click Import Orders to begin the first order import, or I can close the window to save my progress. I'm going to go ahead and close the window, and then we'll take a look at Shopify. This is an order that I expect to import in from my Shopify store. As you can see, it's one checkered red shirt, and then there is a shipping charge and taxes. And the customer is named Meredith Mercy. I have an email address and a shipping address. So let's go ahead and import in the orders from Shopify. To start a sync and Acctivate, I can go to Web Stores and choose Web Store Sync, or I can add a web store icon on my toolbar and I can click that. In the Web Store Sync window, you'll see that I have two web stores set up, a BigCommerce web store and a Shopify web store. If I click Sync Now, it'll sync the BigCommerce store first and then the Shopify sync next. In this case, I only want to sync with Shopify, so I can uncheck BigCommerce. I can optionally choose the sync frequency. Right now it's set to once, meaning if I click Sync Now, it'll run one sync, and then it won't run again until I choose Sync Now a second time. Or I can choose an interval such as every 30 minutes. In this case, the sync will run every 30 minutes as long as this window is open. You can minimize the window though. I'll go ahead and click Sync Now. Okay, let's take a look at the log entries of the sync window here. So first, you can see that it imported in my customer as Meredith Mercy. It attempted to import in my order 1359, but it could not find this product in the database. So it gave a warning here, and because of that warning, the order will not be imported. There's an option in Acctivate that determines how warnings are handled. In this case, I don't want to create the order if there's a warning. I'd rather resolve the issue and then import in the order correctly. For example, with this product ID not existing, I could create the order with this product ID as an inline, non-standard line. However, it wouldn't decrement the inventory of the product that it's actually linked to. So I need to create that linkage. And to do that, I can minimize this. To link the Shopify SKU to my product, I'll open the product list. I'll look for my product, which is the red checkered shirt -MED for medium. Click Edit. And then on the Alt IDs tab, I can put in the Shopify SKU, and that is SHRT CHQ. Optionally, I can give it a description. And then for the type, I want to choose Web Store Shopify. So this allows me to associate this product to a specific Shopify SKU. If I had a different SKU on, say, BigCommerce or another web store, I could enter that in here as well and link it to that web store. Go ahead and click Save. Close this window, and here I see my alternate ID. We can close the product list and return to the web store sync window. Now, as it says here, the sync will automatically restart in 30 minutes, but I'll go ahead and click Sync Now. And we have a successful sync. The customer was imported, the order was created. Let's take a look at the order. All right, now off screen, I've processed the shipment for this order in a shipping software program, and it's been imported into Acctivate. So if I click refresh, this now shows it's shipped. If I go to the packages tab, I have a package here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click create invoice. I'll invoice the order. Okay, now we can close this window We can return to the web store sync window and let's sync again. Now let's take a look at the order in Shopify. In Shopify, you can see that my tracking number has been imported into the order. It's marked as fulfilled. Now the payment would be processed. However, again, I'm in a sandbox environment, so I'm unable to capture the payment, but Acctivate would have recorded that as well. Let's take a look at the product availability for my checkered shirt. Here you can see that I have 39 available in my warehouse. Let's take a look at Acctivate. As you can see, I have 39 available here. This quantity synchronized up to Shopify to update it to be accurate. So any orders or any other transactions that affect the availability in Acctivate will cause Shopify to get updated to have the accurate available quantity so that you don't oversell your product.